Hi! Welcome to this part of my review featuring the Fading Suns role-playing game universe book. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review featuring this sci-fi passion play, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about the Kurga Caliphate and the Lost Worlders. But first, I would like to talk about this channel's sponsor, Heroes and Hardships. This is a universal RPG system, allowing you to play any sort of genre, story, campaign, scenario, anything. You can also create any sort of character imaginable. You have hundreds of tools to assist you with that. I'm going to put a few links in the description, taking you to the Kickstarter, which should begin in about a month or so. There are also going to be links to the website, the Discord, and to my reviews of the Quickstart guide, and to the Wallace campaign setting, featuring the life and exploits of William Wallace. Remember that the Tetsubo campaign setting, inspired by the Sengoku era from Japan, is also coming out in the near future, so please check it out. Now let's continue. Let's talk about the Kurga Caliphate. For centuries, Veracruz was harried by a star nation calling itself the Caliphate of Kurga. Heretics ruled by a prophetic line of succession they claim stretches back to Zebulon himself. The Hazat failed to convince the Universal Church to declare a holy war against the Kurgans, but in the last few decades, the house has succeeded in planting its banners upon the soil of Hira, the world directly beyond Veracruz's jump gate. While Hira is divided by many factions, and the Hazat have made substantial gains on the planet, a constant traffic of Kurgans in large numbers traveled to and from the embattled planet of Hira. Whether the Hazat or some unknown faction found a way to bar the Hira jump gate against the rest of Kurgan space, or whether the Caliphate has simply abandoned the world, it is not known by most known worlders. It could be that the gate has malfunctioned in some way. It has behaved erratically in the past, and strange legends surround it. When the flow of Kurgan soldiers and religious fanatics abruptly ceased, the Kurgan kingdoms of Hira became enraged and launched costly offensives against the Hazat and their allies. Before long, however, their fury was spent, and it became clear that no reinforcements would be arriving. Meanwhile, a small number of Kurgans have spread throughout the known worlds. Individuals, families, and even small communities formed by merchants, exiles, slaves, and escaped prisoners of war. Unable to return home and fleeing the hostility they face on Hazat worlds, they keep a low profile and do what they can to survive. The most well-known Kurgan exile is the sultry courtesan, Zulaikha Turakina, who sought a place in the imperial court for decades, until recently agreeing to marry the Hazat crusader, Count Belardo Goya. While the count treats her as a trophy of war and a fiery barbarian that he has tamed, she has shown a maturing grace in adapting to her position. When the jump route connecting Hira to the rest of Kurga shut down, Count Belardo initially claimed responsibility and demanded such honors as would be due to a victorious crusader. His peers, however, doubt his claim. He has yet to explain just how he accomplished the feat, and he no longer tries to take credit for it. A small party of Kurgans, apparently believing his claim, abased themselves before the Count and passionately pleaded that he reopen the gate to allow travelers to complete a sacred pilgrimage. The Eye has learned what these Kurgans revealed. Hira was a major terminus of a pilgrimage route that spanned most of the Caliphal worlds and defined the Kurgan national identity. The Eye has also learned that the members of the delegation that approached the Count have all vanished utterly. Any Kurgan who starts to speak of the pilgrimage to a non-Kurgan is silenced in some way, reviled as a traitor and apostate. Now let's talk about the Lost Worlders. Lost Worlders have long been one of the boogeymen of the known worlds. Following the end of hostilities, Alexius called on questing knights to reach out to humanity's forgotten outposts and bring them back to the light. Even with the enthusiasm that met his call, dark whispers began to rise. The knights encountered odd worlds and strange inhabitants, and the ensuing rumors multiplied their strangeness. Disputes broke out over the ownership of all these worlds, and losing factions invariably called for embargoes or wars. Much to the questing knights' amazement, a xenophobia unlike any other before began to spread. Perhaps the most surprising wave of militant xenophobia has been within the Emperor's own house. Blocked from expanding into Boldrock space, the Hawkwoods have turned their suppressed desire for new lands into rage at all things foreign. What might amaze the most xenophobic is that the vast majority of Lost Worlders in the known worlds are of one class: slaves. Slavers from both within and without the muster have sought jump keys as a way to obtain untraceable victims. Some of these slaves escape, but usually without understanding the language or culture of those who surround them. Their only hope is often to band together with anyone who will accept them, so they may create whatever home they can. Of course, the classic magic lantern image of Lost Worlders is a mishmash of skulking spies, saboteurs, and explorers from sinful lands come to corrupt the known worlds. These Lost Worlders often have a greater affinity with technology than the average known worlder does, and they may have more comfort with psychic powers and mutations. The tenets of the Universal Church may confuse them, and the subtleties of known world politics might escape them. Still, they do the best they can as they carry out their missions, only rarely confiding the truth of their situation, even to their closest companions. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part we are going to talk about alien kind. It is obvious that the situation in Hera is quite precarious. Having that background of once being a major terminus of a pilgrimage route, it is of such significance that people have lost their lives trying to investigate or look into the secrets of this pilgrimage. Now, when it comes to the Lost Worlders, it is a very complex situation concerning the questing knights. Should they support or even protect the Lost Worlders? After all, they have valuable assets when it comes to knowledge of technology. But at the same time, are they trustworthy? Even though they are often unjustly discriminated, this does not mean that they will work for the benefit of the known worlds. Thank you for watching this part of the review, and thank you for your comments and your likes. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that have been going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, you can send an Amazon gift card or a drive-thru RPG gift certificate. The information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.